Brace yourself. It's Andy Snowden, stage and stage and stage and screen. Stage and screen.
Go ahead, make my day.
Mrs. Robinson, you're trying to seduce me.
And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
Here's Johnny.
Life is a box of chocolates, Forrest. You never know what you're gonna get.
Tell me about it, Steph.
I see dead people.
Stage and screen.
My special guest this afternoon is in the world of entertainment, a real-life jack of all trades. He's an entrepreneur, an actor, an entertainer, a creative producer, presenter, motivational speaker, and a mentor. And in 2001, he set up his own production company, Mr. Producer, and has produced some of Wales's most prominent live events, including the opening weekend of the Wales Millennium Centre for the BBC Wales, and the Welcome to Wales Ryder Cup opening concert at the Millennium Stadium. He's also responsible for producing 11 consecutive BAFTA Awards ceremonies and many TV specials starring Dame Shirley Bassey, Grace Jones, Bryn Terfel, Matthew Rhys, Sir Ian McKellen and Catherine Zeta-Jones. And he has also created and managed the brilliant, the globally renowned Welsh Expat Social Welsh and Sexy Society, better known as SUS, and that ran for over 10 years in London and Spain and New York and Russia. As an entertainer, he has starred as Marius in the world's biggest musical, that's Les Miserables, in London's West End, and as an actor, the controversial at the time, Christopher Duncan in Channel 4's Brookside. And as a presenter, he has presented a game show and a chat show, and he's been a chat show host as well. More recently, he has written and toured the country in 2 one-man shows, the hilarious Shut Your Mouth, which got its premiere back in 2016, and the latest one, No Shame, which sounds equally as outrageous. And just for good measure, he's written and published his autobiography, Out With It, and it's the first autobiography to be published in both English and Welsh in the same book. Tonight, he is the special guest host at the Stute Theatre in his hometown of Hrwslan Have I said that right?
No. It's totally wrong.
No, nobody ever does, do they?
I'm ashamed of you. So should you be.
But anyway, here he is on the Stage and Screen show, Calon FM. Welcome to the show, Stifyn Parri.
That is the longest introduction. I was actually getting bored of myself. That is the longest introduction I've ever had.
I think the first question should be, when do you sleep? Wait, what?
Oh, I love sleep. I sleep a lot.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I love sleeping.
Yeah. That is a lot of work, isn't it, to be put into
Well, I am
one life.
56. I didn't do it all today. In fact, I haven't done much today. I've walked up the mountain and been to the co-op.
Right.
Or the co-op, as they say in Rhys.
Yes, absolutely. Do you like coming home? Are you a bit of a home man? Do you like that kind of thing?
Yeah. I like seeing my old school friends.
Yeah.
I don't like walking around the village where people point to me and go, oh, look at him.
Yeah.
Who's he think he is?
Yeah.
That gets a bit weird.
Yeah.
But yes, it's good. Last night I was in the Seven Stars in Wrexham.
Oh, right, yeah, of course.
Promoting the book as well. And that was like, it was a bit like a Morgan Llwyd reunion for the Welsh school that I went to.
Oh, brilliant.
It was lovely.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
And one of the guys that was above me, Aled Lewis Evans, who was above me in school, he actually did a Q&A, so he was asking me questions last night. So that's quite weird, because we go back.
Yeah.
We knew each other before Christ. So
yeah.
That's also weird, and it makes me feel very old.
Well, it is, isn't it? It's bizarre, because I was thinking actually today that we've kind of followed each other's tracks quite closely.
Well, from that
weirdly.
introduction, I think you've stalked me, frankly. Getting a bit weird. I'm glad my mother's sitting behind there.
I had a funny
Follow
feeling
me home.
halfway through it. I thought, I bet they're looking at each other thinking, what's he doing? That's your Wikipedia page.
No, but we have we keep crossing paths, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. But we were both in the Cluj Theatre.
We were.
We both went to the Guildhall School of Music and Drama.
Mucus and Trauma.
Darling. And, and we both lived in the same area of East London, Leytonstone.
Yes,
we
we
did. And here we are again. So there is an
You are
element
stalking
of
me.
stalkery thing going on, isn't
Were
there?
you at Guildhall after me or before me?
Oh, way after you.
Oh, there you are. You are
Yeah.
stalking me. So
Yeah.
wherever I go, you follow.
Yeah, yeah. When did you leave Guildhall?
I was only there a year because I got work.
That's right.
I was there in 82 to
Oh, right.
83.
Yeah.
I didn't want to leave. I organised 4 farewell parties for myself. I didn't want to leave.
Was it at the Barbican then?
Yeah.
Right,
it
okay.
was. There was no windows.
No.
And because I had no money, I had to live in my uncle's flat in Epsom.
Right.
So I had to get up before the crack of dawn.
Yeah.
And because the classes was so long, I didn't finish till 10 o'clock at night, 9, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I was like a pit pony. I literally never saw any daylight.
Yeah.
Because I'd get up at 5, get on the bus at 6, get to Guildhall at 7:30, sleep in the cafe, and then wait for life to begin. But if I'd have started much later in Epsom, I would never have got in on time. It was bad.
No. Well, it was bad enough. I mean, I lived in Leytonstone, and there's only 5 stops on the tube. And again, you're leaving the house at 7 because.
Well, sometimes when I was doing Les Miserables, I used to cycle home, which is a little bit knackering after you'd done the French Revolution. Sometimes twice that day. So I used to cycle home because my legs could get me home quicker than the tube.
Yeah. Well, I was kind of the same because when I was doing Blood Brothers, which was only up the road from where Les Mis was on.
Which is my favourite musical of all time.
Blood Brothers. Yeah.
And you can't cut a line from it.
No.
It's perfectly written.
Yeah. Because people often say, because it is long. It lasts almost 3 hours.
I just ignore them.
Yeah.
Don't talk to those people.
I think once the lads come on.
Les Mis is long. The first act is an hour and 3/4.
Is it still?
Before no, it's not still. They've cut it down to a sketch now.
Right.
But when I was in it, I didn't get home till midnight.
Right.
Which is why I look 56.
Yeah. When was your last day in Les Mis? I want to talk to you more
It's about
this.
30 years ago.
Right.
I don't even feel like I'm talking about me when I talk about that.
Yeah.
It's too far.
Yeah.
And also, I'm scared of people going, why is he still talking about that? That's been.
Well, you can't not, can you?
But
Once you've been in
it was massive.
Yeah.
It's the hardest job I've done.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk to you more about your West End because it's been more than one thing, of course. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, when I finished when I was working at Blood Brothers, which is in the Phoenix. If anybody doesn't know, it's literally. I mean, all the theatres you could.
It's a village.
You could walk around.
Especially it's a Welsh village because all of us knew each other.
Yeah.
We'd be in every show.
Yeah. And one day, because I used to get the tube back from Tottenham Court Road to Leytonstone, and then one day the tubes were off, so we got the bus. And it was really nice. And, you think, it's quite a nice run back home, this. I should get the bus more often.
Yeah. It took me about 40 minutes, which is not bad in London because, as you say, it was 5 stops. But sometimes if the commuters weren't behaving, you could be 2 hours.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you left Guildhall early doors.
I left after a year, sadly.
Right, because you literally got work.
What happened? A friend of mine was doing my friend had an audition, and it's typical me. I thought, well, if he can have an audition, so can I.
Yeah.
So I rang up HTV, as it was then, not ITV, and said I'd like an audition for this series called Colleague. And they said, oh, we've had done the auditions. And I said, yeah, but you haven't seen me, and I'm coming to Cardiff in 2 weeks' time, and maybe good if we met up. And they said, yeah, but the auditions have finished.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, but you haven't seen me yet. And I just went on and on and on. And she said, oh, just turn up when you're here. So I turned up, and she sent me into this rather large room where there was this very twitchy, nervy sort of man in the corner.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, he must have pushed for an audition as well. So I asked him if he was nervous. And he said, no. And I went, oh, well, what part are you up for? And he went, I'm the producer. And I realised I'd done a boo-boo, and he quite liked that, and we laughed. And I got the job as the village idiot, basically.
For how long?
2 years.
Oh, really?
It's the best paid job I've ever had.
A TV job, yeah?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It was a soap opera.
Right,
Well,
okay.
it was meant to be a 26-part series, which Guildhall left me leave to go and do, but then it was going to carry on, and I just didn't see the point of going back to learn how to be a polar bear for the afternoon when I could earn 40 grand a year in the 80s.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of money then.
Yeah. So did that and Brookside, did they come quite closely together?
No, well, I left the soap after 2 years because I thought, right, I've done that now, I've learnt that. And I went to do a lot of theatre, and I did 4 lead parts in shows at Theatre Clwyd with Annie Castledine.
Right.
And while I was doing that, I had an audition for Brookside.
Right.
And I went in for 1 episode and ended up there for 2 years. And then again, thought, I've done this now, it's time to go.
Yeah.
Which I tend to do. Even as a child, 1 minute I'd learn the flute.
Yeah.
And then 5 weeks later I'd go, no, I think it's the cello. And then I'd give up the cello and I'd go, oh, it's the piano.
Yeah.
And then the piano would go and be something else.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, I mean, I've heard you say as well that you it's a bizarre thing, because this seems to happen quite a lot to me, when you see something crosses your mind, and the next minute you're doing it, which is what happened with that character of Christopher Duncan, right?
Yeah, I was sitting I remember sitting cross-legged with a hangover in my flat, on some... Oh, you got Brookside playing in the background.
I was going to say, just give it butterflies in your stomach.
No, but it used to sound cutting edge. Now it sounds...
Yes, it's very...
pretty awful now.
Yeah, it's very dated.
Sounds like you're playing it on elastic of someone's knickers. I was sitting on a shag pile carpet, a brown shag pile carpet, watching Brookside every Saturday with a hangover, which was the omnibus on S4C at the time.
Right.
And Gordon Collins was part of the Collins family, who were very middle class and nothing like the rest of the close. And the mother was a magistrate, and they're all rather la-di-da, or thought they were.
Yeah.
And they started talking about this boyfriend of Gordon's, who's called Christopher Duncan, who was an antiques dealer and a ski instructor. And I thought, I wonder who they'll have to play that part.
Yeah.
And a year later, I was playing it.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, who was going to play it? Not, I'm going to get that part, because that happens to me a lot.
Yeah.
If I want to go and get something, I go and get it.
Yeah.
But I didn't say that then.
No.
That was a bit of fate.
Yeah. Was you a Wrexham fan in it?
Of what?
Of football.
Oh, I hope not, because I don't know anything about. When you started,
it's just the guy who was before me.
Sport before me, I was nodding off, because I have no interest.
But not even the Welsh, not in the rugby.
No, the only thing about the sporting world that has any effect on me is that grandstand music. Used to make me feel very anxious as a child, because it was every Saturday morning where I was ignored by everybody in my grandmother's house while grandstand was on, and my mum and dad were in the fish and chip shop.
Right.
So I had nothing to do, and everybody was watching something that I had no interest in whatsoever.
Oh, long programme as well.
Oh, I nurtured a verruca all through school so that I didn't have to do sport. And that's the truth.
Yeah.
No,
brilliant.
So I hope I wasn't a Wrexham fan, because I don't think I'm that good an actor.
No, because there was a guy, the guy Steve, who's in before me, and I said that you were coming in, and I told him about your practicing a Scouse accent.
Oh, the rude thing that I can't do on the radio.
But then turned out that you didn't need it at all, because you were told you were from Wrexham.
From Wrexham,
right?
Yeah,
so
but not a Wrexham
question.
Fan. No, not a. I mean, I like Wrexham as a town, but they could be playing football or rugby at the bottom of my bed and I wouldn't care. Well, I wouldn't know. There's massive games on in Cardiff, and I'm wondering why I can't park.
Yeah. Yes.
And women walking around with dragons on their cheeks.
Yeah.
And I'm just going, what's she doing that for? And then somebody says, oh, did you not know it's the World Cup? Or no, I didn't.
It's very big, the rugby, isn't it?
Gets far too much.
Yeah.
Far too much time on the telly. It's on the news all the time.
Yeah.
And then they have programmes guessing what the score's going to be. What's that about? And men in suits going, yeah, well, I think, if he moves slightly to the left and then we go to the right, then we'll be... Oh, go get it. I'll be doing with it.
Your mum's in the studio, sitting here. She's looking at me like she's heard this a million times.
She has. We haven't given her a microphone because she won't stop.
Oh, fantastic. Marilyn, the chip shop.
Yes.
That's I think I was actually thinking before that when your mum and your dad they're quite famous in the village when you own a chip shop.
They were. I mean, my mum's fish and chips were pretty phenomenal, and I'm not saying that because they were mums, because I do like my food, and they were fantastic. But she didn't sell anything else. she wouldn't have done pies or Scotch eggs or
Oh, really?
definitely no battered sausage.
Just everyone fish and chips.
Oh,
that's
no.
it.
The fish had to taste of fish and the chips had to taste of fish.
Yeah.
And that was the only law.
Yeah.
I think she'd have probably made more money if she'd have sold other things.
Yeah.
But she wouldn't. But that was my mother's platform, and my dad worked for Wrexham Council
Right.
and then used to help her either in the evenings or on Saturdays.
Yeah.
I nearly said Saturday matinee then, which probably is. My mum did, you'd have 2 shows on one day. My mother did the 2 openings in the fish and chip shop.
Yeah. But for you, growing up, when everybody knows your mum, I think there's an element of that kind of rubs off on you that makes you feel different, special.
I just think there was a swap. For years and years and years, I was Madeline's son, and then Mam became Stifyn Parri's mother.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's been a bit of a twist. But I've also been Anthony's brother, because my brother was older than me, who was absolutely brainy, and passed everything in flying colours. So he was known for being clever.
Yeah.
So I was the one that was not so clever.
Right.
So I've been a bit of everything, really.
Yeah.
And I decided to sod them all and just be myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. That's the best way to be. You can't be anybody else, can you?
Well, no, but I was compared. There was a bit that's in the book that I was compared very harshly to my brother by somebody who called herself a teacher, but I think she was a paid bully. And every day she used to tell me that I wasn't good enough.
Yeah. Yes.
And that I wasn't as good as him.
Yeah.
And it didn't cause any tension between me and him. But I went home and made a badge and carved in passionate red Bic biro, "My name is Stephen and not Anthony." And she backed off. And I think it was that age, at 8, that I realised that I wasn't the sort of person that was going to let anybody build a brick wall on my journey.
Yeah.
The only person that should ever do that is yourself.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So bang went that teacher. I can't even remember her name, which is great.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah. That speaks for
She may
for
not
itself,
even be
doesn't it?
here.
Yeah.
I don't care.
We're going to hold it for a minute because we need to play a little bit of music.
Don't play Brookside.
It's something about the Brookside theme tune. I love Brookside.
It was
loved
brilliant.
it.
I think it was at its best the year before I got there,
Right.
and my first year I was there.
Well, it was so controversial.
Yeah, it was.
And
It was all done on one camera, so it's like doing a film.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and those houses were tiny,
Yeah.
and they stank. I made a guacamole in my first episode. I went back in episode 3, and it was still there. It's true.
Oh, fantastic. We've got Stifyn Parri in the studio this afternoon. This is him. So we're going to hold it for a minute, and when we come back, we're going to hear about the escapades in London's West End, and we'll do that, shall we?
It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show. It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show. It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show. It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show.
So there you go, a little bit of end of the day from the movie version of Les Miserables. And the reason why we're playing that is we are talking to Stifyn Parri this afternoon.
You're listening to the Andy Snowden Stage and Screen Radio Show. Broadcasting around the world. And in Rosa Medre.
Yes, indeed, it's the Stage and Screen Show with me, Andy Snowden, here until 3 p.m. this afternoon, and then I am out of here. Just to keep you up to date with the scores on the doors in the early kick-off with the football for you, Stephen. This is Leicester 0, Tottenham 1. It's half
Just
time.
jot this down if you don't.
It's half time in the football. So.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so you can go and get
put my feet up.
an orange or something
Yeah.
that you can do. All right, brilliant.
Or a gum shield or something.
We were saying just before we had a little bit of a break there with a little bit of Les Mis that I mean your West End shows are in your book explaining about how you got the part in Les Mis. The Phantom of the Opera bit is just, for me, it's painful.
I know.
It's really.
It was. Try going through it.
Yeah, when I read it, when I thought, my God, that must
There
have
was
been...
hundreds of people up for the part of Raoul in Phantom.
Uh-huh.
And they whittled it down to 2. And then I had to sing the whole song in front of Hal Prince, who was the biggest director on Broadway, who sadly died recently and sadly misspelt in my book. Nothing to do with me. And Sir Cameron Mackintosh, the biggest producer on earth, although he's only 3'9". And I had to sing the whole show in front of him, and so did this other guy who had the vibrato that you could drive a bus through. And I thought, this is in the bag, I've got this.
Yeah.
And I went home and waited for the phone to ring forever, like you do.
Yeah.
And then there was a knock on the door, and I had a letter. I could see it was from Sir Cameron Mackintosh's office. And I was so excited, and I was opening the envelope, and it just said, unfortunately. And they'd given it a wobbly.
Yeah.
And I nearly said something far ruder. And I was gutted. But the card said, let's hope something better comes for you soon. And 3 weeks later, I got Marius without an audition, which was a far better part.
Yeah.
Than Wobbly Bum.
But I mean, the pain of that. I mean, I can't believe you had to learn the whole show, because it's not a bit, is it? I mean,
No, I had to learn the whole show while I was doing another drama in Plymouth, and no, I mixed that up. That was when I got Les Mis. But I had to learn the whole show of Phantom. But to be honest with you, Raoul isn't a very big part.
Right, okay.
So
you just had to stand
I had
and
to
sing.
3 or 4 seats. So what they did is they brought in all the understudies, poor things, on a hot Friday afternoon. They weren't in costume. Neither were we. Oh, did they put us in costume? I can't remember. I'm too old. But there was the whole lights, everything was on, and just these 2 major names in Broadway and West End. Well, the biggest names on the planet.
Yeah.
Watching us, and I sang. I nailed it as best as I could, and I just thought, I can do this. Just give it to me.
Yeah.
Just give it to me. That's all you need to do.
Yeah.
And they give it to him.
Yeah.
But then I got Marius, which was a much bigger part and a much better part. But then I was doing this job in Plymouth that I had to fly back to London every day, which sounds so glamorous, but I can promise you it wasn't. And I'd get from Plymouth to London in 40 minutes and then spend an hour and a half in a taxi getting from Heathrow to the theatre, rehearse in the morning, have arguments because people will say, no, we can't afford to get you a waistcoat. You've got to you have this one. And not even Wayne Sleep would have fitted in it, let alone me. So, and then I had to go back on the train from London after a maybe 3-hour rehearsal because they wouldn't let me fly back. The production I was doing in Plymouth wouldn't let me fly back because it was renowned for fog problems and difficult landings. So I had to go back on the train for 4.5 hours every day and then do a show in the evening and then get up at 5 and then go and fly and do that. I did that for 2 weeks and then opened the show, which is no reason. You know, when you started playing that, at the end of the day, you're another day older. Yeah. That is the only line of that song I still know because I had to play a beggar. Everybody plays every part, and then I become Marius, and I'm Marius throughout. So when everybody gets shot and killed on the barricade, they're all in the green room having a fag and a cup of coffee, and I'm still on stage being Marius. But before I'm Marius, I'm lots of other things.
Yeah.
But those other things I played never knew their words because I never had the chance to learn them. No. So I had a scarf around my mouth.
Was you ever late back?
Late back?
No.
Luckily the train. But I mean, it was tight. I mean, I think I got something like a train that got in at 6:30, which got me to the theatre. And if there would have been a delay, I could have still got there by 7:15.
Yeah.
But it was scary. But the most ridiculous thing was I don't read music. So there was no point in me trying to learn the score because I carried that score back and forth with me and I never opened it because I do so far. And I do it by ear. So I just listened to the album.
Yeah.
So I knew that. But then another problem happened. I was rehearsing and I was sort of getting it right and standing where I needed to stand because if you don't in Les Miserables, you're in the dark because there's not much lighting.
Yeah.
And they said, we won't rehearse the last song of the show now at the end, which is when Marius is married. So I'm standing centre stage, kneeling down with my wife next to me. We've just got married. She's wearing a massive meringue. The spotlight is on us. All the people who are dead are all like ghosts behind us. And we all sing another version of what happens at the end of Act 1.
Right.
Nobody told me there were different lyrics. So I was sent to stage on my first night going, do you no and I just thought, I think I'll just smile because I've got married. And that's what I did. So you know, I am scarred.
Oh God! Did you do the anniversary? And
I did I can't remember which one I did. I did
Albert Hall.
I did the Albert Hall one. I was just at the back with everybody else playing up because there was Michael Ball obviously wanted his part back.
Yeah.
Bar steward. And what's bizarre, I shared a flat with him when he created the part.
Yeah.
And I thought he was being such a diva, being off every night, losing his voice.
Yeah.
Little did I know that 5 years later I'd be playing exactly the same part, having the same vocal problems.
Yeah.
So he wanted the part in that, and obviously they wanted him, and that's fine.
Yeah.
So I sat at the back and tried to make everybody laugh through the night. That was an experience. But we did a whole big concert at Wembley in front of 72,000 men shouting at us because they didn't want us to be there. So we did Les Miserables, and I thought, well, if I can cope with this, I can cope with anything.
Yeah.
Because I was there singing
Wasn't that for the rugby?
In Wembley. I don't know what it was. Why would I know? It was about me. 72,000 people came to get me off the pitch and going, will you please leave? We're trying to have a match. I have no idea what.
Oh, I know what it was. It was the end of the '96 European Cup. And you were all in blue T-shirts?
I've no idea.
Oh, I can find the footage on YouTube.
Well, you probably can. And you probably see me at the back, bored, going, what, who decided to do this? Who thought this was a good idea?
Oh, brilliant. But you're part of theatre history with that show, aren't you? It's not just a normal gig.
It's not a normal gig. It is probably the most successful running musical on the planet. And I know why, because some of those songs are perfect. And apparently it's based on a good book, but I never had a chance to read that either.
No.
Because that was bigger than my bed.
Yeah.
And I didn't have time, so I spent my rehearsal time travelling and trying to learn the notes.
Yeah. So once you were running in the show, you were able to... Did you have to get a house in London then, or was you already living there?
I was already living in London, right. But then, of course, you just start thinking what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
So I'd commute back and do stuff in Wales. I started running my Welsh Society SUS.
Yeah.
8 French revolutions a week. Then somebody'd say, would you come and sing maybe at the Palladium on the Sunday? Well, you're not going to say no.
No.
When you've only used to singing in the Stute.
Yeah.
You're going to say yes. So I did. Got all my words.
Let me ask you about Metropolis. Was Metropolis, was that a Cameron McIntosh show?
No. Otherwise it'd still be running.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It was big American money. And it lasted 9 months, and it hemorrhaged money. It was a phenomenal production.
Yeah.
There was 3.5 tons of solid metal floating on air like a hovercraft on the stage. And anybody that knows the Fritzland film, that was the machinery. And I was one of the machine guys that swaps parts with the lead. So I was like Juve lead B. So I got a solo in it. So it's great. I went straight into the West End from Brookside.
Right.
Having a solo rather than having to stand in the chorus. In fact, if I'd have been in the chorus, they'd have sacked me because unless I have to concentrate, I'm very, very badly behaved.
All right.
So I did I had this song called The Sun, and the lyrics were really bad. And I just I'd just done the first gay kiss on television, and the lyrics, if I remember rightly, for The Sun were the sun never shines because the straights never bend. And I said, I don't think I'm going to be saying that. And they said, oh, but it's so lyrical. And I'm going, no. So I rewrote the lyrics.
All right, fantastic. Well, on that note, let's have a listen to it, shall we? This is you.
Just
singing.
listen to the last note. It's longer than my life.
Well, I was just saying to you, wasn't I, before, while we were listening to the Les Mis before, that when I was in college... I think I was in college, I was somewhere, but my singing teacher said to me, he said, you've got to learn this song, it'll be ideal for you. So I did, and I've listened to it a million times, this song, and I didn't realise it was you.
I think you're in denial. I think you knew exactly. Just trying to keep away from that word.
Yeah,
stalker.
Don't come round my house, I've got photographs of you on my room. So there you go. There's Stifyn Parri on the Stage and Screen Show. You're going to love this. This is called The Sun. It's from the original cast recording.
My lyrics.
There he is. Hey, it's all about you, lovey.
Of course it is.
Here we go. This is The Sun. This is beautiful.
Can it be? For the sun never shines, 'cause the rules never bend. Nor the shimmer of light ever reaches me, so the pain never ends on me. Shine on me.
It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show. It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show. It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show. It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show.
So that was beautiful. That was The Sun from the original cast recording of Metropolis. Do you ever listen back to that?
No.
No. Does it make you feel a bit twitchy inside?
No, I loved doing that show because it was my first ever time in the West End. And I was working with bonkers people like Brian Blessed, and there's all sorts of tantrum stories about him that are in the book. Buy it, please, $9.99. And that was my introduction to that stupid world.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a hit, but the music in it and the choral singing was fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
But there was so many technical problems, and then maybe you'd leave your house to get into town in time ready to do the show, and then you'd turn up, and then 35 tons would sort of collapse on stage, and they go, "Sorry, there's no show tonight," and you'd have to go home again. And
yes, I seem to remember there was a lot of that kind of things happening.
And the press slated it because people said, you'll come out humming the set, because the set was so stunning.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
But I did well out of it, and I had nice reviews, and I was on the poster, so that's all that mattered to me, that it was a stepping stone to not getting the part in Phantom to get the part in Les Mis.
Yeah. Do you believe that? Do you believe everything happens for a reason?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also believe that you can make anything happen.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you about that, because most people, they might think to themselves, oh, I'm going to do that, and then they'll never do anything about it. You will think, I'm going to do that, and then do it. And there's a big difference there.
There's a massive difference, because, a lot of people I know, I'm surrounded by, people go, oh, yes, I'm going to be an actress.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds great, but if you're not going to be, it's just a pathological lie. Isn't it? Oh, we're thinking of going to so-and-so on holiday. We're all thinking about doing that thing, but you're never going to go. Stop it. And I worry, because if I have an idea, I do it.
Yeah.
I don't have any capability of not doing it.
But because
it's positive thinking, I think, which
Yeah.
I do a lot of mentoring as well, and I think the book helps. There's a few hints and tips of having a more positive look on life. But if I set my heart on something, there's no way it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
No way at all.
No.
Well, I used to doubt it, but I've proved to myself that I can do anything I want.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that in any big-headed way at all. But if I've ended up being the creative producer for the opening of the Wales Millennium Centre, I'm working with massive budgets, when I've never passed an arithmetic test, when I've never done a management course, when I've never studied event management, when I don't know anything about running a company.
No.
And I've done that.
Well, I said in your intro.
I've never written a book, and all of a sudden I've written the first one in history that is Welsh and English back to back. That's bonkers.
Yeah, but when you're
it's not clever,
when you're the person organising the likes of Shirley Bassey and
she's a nightmare.
Is she?
She's brilliant.
These are the questions I was going to ask.
She's absolutely brilliant, but I just wouldn't like to live next door to her. I've got so much respect for her talent.
Yeah,
but. She's a handful.
Yeah. Somebody asked me to ask you about riders, and everyone seems to be interested in riders.
Yeah.
Do people...
Yeah. Riders are basically lists of demands that people have. And one artist, and I can't for legal reasons say who this is, but you'll guess probably. Might not buy the book. Maybe you'll find out. There's a little tip. We had to build the stairs for this. We'll call her Lady. We had to build the stairs with steps high enough so that when her knees, when she was walking up, her knees would lift her dress, so we all saw her bum. We had to have. Am I allowed to say bum? I've said it twice now.
You said
bum, bum, bum. We are. Get over it. I then also had to. I had to hire a fan with a certain velocity to blow this lady's dress over her head.
Yeah.
She wears a lot of outrageous headgear. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
She's got a Welsh surname, although she's not. We had to have. She demanded 8 bottles of Cristal champagne, which is about £90 a bottle. Wow. A bottle of red wine, which was costing about £250. A limousine for as long as she wanted to stay in Wales to sing 3 songs. And a hotel. And then you get other people that just want a dairy milk and a towel.
Yeah.
But that's not a joke, you know. In fact, there's one artist that I also can't mention. That's what she wanted. She wanted a dairy milk and a freshly laundered towel.
Yeah.
3 years later, you should see the list she wanted then. It was practically a box of butterflies, 12 matching puppies, and, you know.
But do you find it's the people around them that make these demands?
All of them.
Yeah.
I've worked with the royalty, and Prince Charles is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
But the people who were looking after him that day, I could have quite happily shot them.
Yeah.
They were a nightmare.
Yeah. Have you seen the new Downton film, incidentally?
Not yet.
Well, there's a bit in it where that exact thing happens. The king and queen are lovely.
Yeah.
But the people around them.
Well, I've said the most outrageous, dodgy, naughty things that I should probably not say to the future king, who's burst out laughing. The people around him have, one, practically murdered me before he's come into the room, trying to get me to do what they think I should be doing.
Yeah.
And he's brilliant, but those people are a nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's always their management, and they're always married to their management.
Yeah.
There's always someone there, you know, they can be. I've had very, very difficult situations where somebody, and if you come and see my one-man show, you'll get to find out who this person is, but I'm not telling you for free. But what happened was that she is renowned. It's the same woman that had needed the stairs and the wind machine.
Right.
She's renowned for being 2 hours late on stage. So I can't believe I even was this clever, because I'm not that clever. But I decided to create a timetable for her that was 2 hours early. So actually, when she thought she was 2 hours late, she was bang on time.
Yeah.
So I got her on time, on budget, on stage, and I think I'm probably the early producer that's done that.
Fantastic.
She said, make them wait. And I went, well, the lawyers are here. You know, you've signed a contract. It's going out live. And she thought she was already 2 hours late.
Yeah. Why do people do that?
Because they're mad.
Yeah. I never.
Why do some of the artists I've worked with, one artist, also in the book, $9.99, had a tantrum that his mother wasn't put in the right seat for the opening night of Metropolis. So you can imagine who that was. And they threw a kettle, a armchair, and a lamp out through the dressing room window.
I didn't think you were that strong.
Wasn't me.
You've mentioned the book 1,000 times, so we better talk about it.
Have I written a book?
You're going to
I
go
wonder you were
into
going to get around to that, talking about rugby or football or whatever it was.
Was it very much the same as writing the same sort of discipline as writing the show, the one-man shows that you've done?
Yeah. Everything I do is quite disciplined, because if you work for yourself and you've got to produce something, you've got to actually sit there and not be that pathological liar who's going, I'm going to do a one-man show.
Yeah.
Well, when?
Yeah.
So you're there with a blank piece of paper going, that's not making anybody laugh.
Yeah. But
So you have to create.
If you're going to write a one-man show, the best thing to do is write it about something you know, innit?
Yeah.
And writing about yourself. Nobody knows you better than you.
And also, although it seems like it's all me, it's really all about other people.
Yeah.
But it's through my eyes. But I don't know anything else.
Yes.
But I also don't know anybody else that sees things like I do anyway.
Yeah.
So it is through my eyes, and I call the original show Shut Your Mouth because I do talk for nearly 2 hours, as you can imagine now. Listeners, I'm sorry. And the new show that's coming out soon is a follow-on from that, really, which I Have No Shame, which is what it's called.
Yeah. A lot of the stories, and I think the quality of this show is the fact that you're such a brilliant storyteller.
Well, I'm not a comedian.
Well, but
I am a
that's the thing.
storyteller.
You're a funny storyteller,
Yeah.
which essentially, I suppose, is a comedian, isn't
Well,
it?
I suppose, but I feel a bit of a sham calling myself a stand-up because I've never trained to be a stand-up, but I've always made people laugh at dinner.
Yeah.
And I wanted the show to make people feel like they were sitting having dinner with me.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I also wanted with the book. There were a few main objectives of the book, and the one was that I actually said it my way.
Yeah.
And that I had to have a book that was bilingual because my whole life and my career is bilingual. And I didn't see the point of writing a book that's meant to reflect you that wasn't in the both languages.
Yeah.
It has had its problems because Amazon then didn't know how to sell it because they didn't know whether to call it a Welsh book or an English book because they didn't have a section that said bilingual.
Yeah.
So they've had to create that.
Oh, really?
There's never been a book, there's never been an autobiography with no back to the book because there's two fronts.
Yeah.
It's what they call the tilt and turn, which I nearly used as the title for the book to begin with, but to be honest, it didn't work in the Welsh language.
Yeah.
And I also wanted people to hear me when they were reading it.
Yes, well, I was going to say that's exactly what I was going to say to you, man. Like, did you feel you can hear you speak?
Well, hopefully, because I had a few people trying to edit me, and I was just going, no, sorry.
Yeah.
They're going, shouldn't you make that a bit shorter? No, that's how I speak.
Yeah.
You know, shouldn't that Welsh word be different? I'm going, no.
Yeah. But your one-man show, the Shut Your Mouth,
Yeah.
I haven't seen the other one, but...
No, I haven't started that one yet.
Oh, have you not?
No.
So
I'm still cooking that. I haven't finished it.
So
I've got a lovely poster, but I don't know what I'm going to say yet.
So you've written it, you're starring it, and you directed yourself, is that right?
I just stand there and talk.
Yes, but there's a structure to it.
Oh, there's a structure. There's no script. There's a massive, very strong structure, and then I just do whatever I want within that structure. Right. So I show photographic evidence of the people I'm divulging gossip about, or proof, or funny pictures. But basically, it's my gob.
Yeah.
Because that's the best thing I've got, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and it is. And
it works quicker than my brain.
Well, I saw it twice, and it was, and it was. I mean, the first time I watched it, I was just sort of like blown away by it. The second time, I knew what was coming, but I still just found it just one. It's just one funny story after
it's
another.
It's the rhythm
of
it, though, isn't
it? There's no
it?
fillers. There's nothing boring. No. It's just very, very good.
There has been. When I wrote the show, first of all, and I picked one poor person who was a writer and thought I was funny and was not scared of saying what she thought. So I nailed her to a chair one morning after rehearsing for months in my house where my dogs knew the show inside out.
Yeah.
And I did it for her, and the show was over 2.5 hours long.
Right.
So I had to cut an hour out.
Right.
So there was stuff in there that had to come out. But
are they all in the new one?
No. Because I didn't think they were good enough to be in the first one, so
right.
They shouldn't be good enough to be in the second.
Yeah.
And funnier things have happened since then.
Yeah.
I've had people like Shirley Bassey be nasty to me.
Yeah.
Oh. Really? Come and see the show.
You know, we were talking the other day that I was talking to somebody about this, what goes on at the with the Sun, right? The Sun newspaper, and what happened with Gareth Thomas, and everybody that I've asked, everyone says, nobody wants to know. Nobody's interested in that sort of thing. And I thought to myself, no, I don't think they're interested in lies.
No.
But, you know, we all like a story. I mean, if you came on and said,
yes.
I've worked with Catherine Zeta-Jones and she's lovely, that would be boring.
Which she is.
But if you said Catherine Zeta-Jones, and I'll tell you something about it. That's everyone goes, oh, hello.
Like I went to Catherine Zeta-Jones's wedding, and the funny thing is I pinched Goldie Hawn's bum.
Oh, marvellous.
Because I thought some of my straight friends will be furious because they can't, so I'll do it on their behalf. So on the dance floor, I pinched her bum. But, you know, that's an interesting part. It's not going, we went to a lovely wedding.
Yeah.
You know, so
yes.
That's when I know when a story works, because that's what I'd want to know.
Yeah. Yes.
How did it feel?
Yeah. Yeah.
All that.
But, I mean, just on the Gareth Thomas thing. I mean, nobody's...
Well, also now, the whole thing's changed because I've been offered thousands and thousands of pounds, which is also in the book, about the press thought I was having an affair with George Michael.
Oh, right.
And I wasn't.
Yeah.
And I'd met him, and I was offered lots of money, and I didn't take it, I'm really glad to say. But nowadays, that wouldn't happen because with Twitter and Facebook, the Star, can get the real story out straight away.
Yeah.
So it's killed all that newspaper tittle-tattle.
Yeah.
But my show isn't, or my book is not a kiss and tell, but it is a bit cheeky.
Yeah.
Well, it's very cheeky, but it's not a kiss and tell.
No.
I don't think I'm nasty towards anybody.
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, I would be disappointed. I'd be disappointed. Let me go pick it. I'd be disappointed if I wasn't in it. If I mean, I am disappointed I'm not in it, to be honest with you.
Well, that was the whole hour that was cut out. It was boring. He's thrown his pen at me now. At least he's stopped stalking me now. I've upset him in his own programme.
Oh, brilliant. Stu, we're going to have to finish there, mate, because it's coming up to the hour.
I'm bored. I've got to go. No, I'm not bored. I could sit here all day.
It's been brilliant having you in.
I'll come back.
And we're waiting for 3 years to get you in the studio.
Well, we'll come again.
Perfect.
Thanks very much.
And we shall go from...
$9.99. Amazon.
Out with it.
Local bookshop.
And it's brilliant.
There's 99 pictures in there.
Really?
Yeah, there is. I don't know why they didn't put 100. They're tight, aren't they?
Yeah.
But there's 99 pictures in there.
And it's fantastic. It's a really good book. A really good read. And I might read it for the third time. You never know.
Ooh. Get me out of here. Taxi!
Take it easy on yourself. Cheers.
Keep away.
It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show. It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show. It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show. It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show.